Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Dom. I've had the Claw 8 AI Plus for about 3 weeks now. Got it off of Amazon. Took a lot of tries to get it, and then I finally did. It's still pretty hard to get. Seems like they have a low supply. But in any case, one of the reasons I went with this is because I wanted the Legion Go 2, but I knew it wasn't going to come out for a while, so I went with the Claw instead, because I wanted something that was bigger than 7 inches and had a good screen and had some power behind it. The weight of it is a little lighter than the Legion Go. I would say it's between the Legion Go and the ROG Ally X in terms of weight. The ergonomics feel good in the hand. The D-pad feels nice and clicky. It's way better than the D-pad that was on the Legion Go, in my opinion. I do like it better than the Steam Deck as well, and the ROG Ally. I think it's the best out of all of them. I play Street Fighter, and I can get all of my quarter circles, my Hadoukens in, and everything like that. So it's really nice. It's a good feeling pad. This thing is pretty silent, even at the max TDP wattage. I think it's like 30. When it's like at full load, I would say that it is on par with the ROG Ally X. Actually, no, it's a little bit better. And then I would say that it is definitely better than the Legion Go, for sure. So they nailed it with that. So it comes with Hall Effect triggers, and it comes with Hall Effect joysticks. Honestly, I don't know what that really means. I guess it, in terms of the joysticks, it's supposed to help with stick drift. But again, I haven't had that. In terms of sound, it's nice and bassy, and it's really clear. When you pull it up full blast, it doesn't really sound distorted at all. I would put it on level playing field with the ROG Ally X, and it's way better than the Legion Go for sure, which had, I think, top firing speakers. These speakers are front facing. The MSI Claw comes with 2 USB-C ports. They're both Thunderbolt, and it comes with 1 terabyte of storage space. I ran out of that pretty quickly, so I put in an SD card. Easy to upgrade this, but I haven't opened it to upgrade it because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it or not. Now, in terms of the games, I've played Monster Hunter on it, Indiana Jones. I've played Avowed. I played Street Fighter on it, and I played Cyberpunk. And in terms of performance that I was getting out of those games, I got to be honest, I wasn't that impressed. It is better than the Legion Go, but not by much. For how much it was touted that you can get similar performance out of this Intel chip if you compared it to the AMD chips that are in the ROG Ally X and the Legion Go at 17 TDP. I didn't really see it but I'm not a super hardcore numbers guy. So, you know, there are a few frames probably faster on the MSI Claw, but I wasn't blown away. I was honestly a little bit disappointed considering that this is $900. So just keep that in mind. Another thing that I thought was a con for me was the lack of XESS support. Now, we all are familiar if you game on PC or you have a PC handheld, that FSR 3 is what like pretty much is the standard now. You cannot use NVIDIA solution because it's exclusive to NVIDIA. So we're all just using FSR to basically upscale our games. And XeSS support is pretty low, which is disappointing because it's so much better and it rivals NVIDIA's solution. And so that was one of the reasons I bought this, and that might have been on me that I didn't do my due diligence or my research. And also coming from someone that has an NVIDIA GPU, I have a RTX 3090, I'm used to using DLSS, and then I used FSR obviously on the Legion Go and the RG Ally, and on the Steam Deck. So I didn't use XeSS that often. But when I did, I was always blown away with the results. So it was disappointing when I saw a lot of the games didn't give me that option. Like Avowed doesn't give you that option. Street Fighter doesn't give you that option. Cyberpunk does. And on Cyberpunk, it looks great. And Cyberpunk runs well on that. That was the one game that I thought ran pretty well. And I was impressed with its performance. But overall, it's the lack of support. I think if there were more games that supported that, gamers would be happier with the option because it does produce a better image overall than FSR. And I'm not sure what's going on, but I thought Intel was kind of pushing for that support. And I thought that was one of the reasons the MSI Claw went with Intel, was because it would be able to take advantage of the better upscaling solution, but you don't really see it in real world use that often, at least from the games that I play. But from the games that I did play, it's not like I was getting worse performance than the Legion Go or other handhelds. It was just that there wasn't this huge performance jump that I thought I would see. And that's just my personal expectations. I'm not saying that everyone that gets this has the same expectations, but those were just kind of mine where I thought it was going to be a sizable jump. That leads me to my final thoughts on this in terms of whether I want to keep it. I'm going to return this. I think it looks great. It's a cool looking device. The ergonomics are great on this, but for my use case, I don't like gaming under 1080p. And if I got to put everything in 800p to get decent performance, then PC handhelds aren't really for me just yet. I'm gonna probably stick with like using a tablet to cloud stream. I would keep this to just cloud stream because it does cloud stream really well. I cloud streamed using Moonlight and PX Play, which is a PlayStation Remote Play solution made by like a developer. You know, I played Ragnarok, I played Spider-Man 2 on it, and it was really good. Looked beautiful on screen. It looked better than my PlayStation Portal. However, having said that, it's $900, and I already have a PlayStation Portal that can do that. And I just bought the Lenovo Tab Gen 3, which is an 8.8-inch tablet, when I think it has a better screen than this, and it streams really well. So I'm probably gonna lean towards that until the technology catches up. AMD came out with a new APU. It's in the Flow Z13 that I am trying to get. But I think when we see it when we see those new APUs coming into like these handheld devices, that's when you're gonna start really getting impressive performance. I think also when these upscale solutions get better and the frame generation gets better, I think then it'll be worthwhile for me. I did use lossless scaling on this device and it was nice. I did get a nice bump in resolution and in performance in terms of, using that frame generation alternative. So it did make me consider keeping it, but I had to be honest with myself. I have a powerful PC. I can stream at 1200p, which is what I've been doing on this, and just get a really crisp resolution. I'm not using this to its full potential. I'm not playing games on this often. I'm really just streaming because I get a better quality and there's very little latency when I'm using it compared to using a frame gen or a lossless scaling. Like, it's more responsive when I'm streaming than when I'm using lossless scaling. I mean, I think there's a benefit that if I'm on the go, I game at home. So it's not really of use for me to be playing games directly from the device if I'm gonna be gaming at 1080p. That's just my personal opinion. In terms of whether other people should get this or not, I think that wholly depends on what your expectations are. I think my expectations are a little higher. If you really like something like the ROG Ally X, but you wanted a bigger screen, then maybe you can go with the MSI Claw. If you didn't really care for the Legion Go, but you did like the size of the screen, I think that's another reason why you might lean towards the MSI Claw. But again, I think the devices that I mentioned, Legion Go and ROG Ally X, because they're older, they're cheaper. You can get a Legion Go for $550, $600 at like Best Buy I got mine from Amazon for like $5.50 a little while back, before I, like an idiot, sold it. But I think you're probably better off going with those until this goes down in price. Another thing that I think you want to consider is what community you want to be a part of. They each have their own subreddit, their own forums. From my personal experience using the other devices, I felt the community was stronger. The community with the MSI Claw, I didn't feel like I got enough information when I wanted to troubleshoot things. I think everyone was still figuring it out, and that could just be because MSI is a new player in the game, so it's going to take a while for that community to get bigger. But I think ultimately, when you're deciding what handheld you want to get, I think that is something for you to consider, especially because you are dealing with PC. And when you deal with a PC, you're going to deal with PC issues. Figure out how to do the hotkeys. I didn't really find that many resources on the MSI Claw forum, and that's what I was talking about when it comes to community. I like to be a part of a community that is thriving, that has a lot of people that are informing each other, and I didn't find it as much on that community, and that's no slight to that specific community, because I'm just getting into it, as an outsider, and it's not like I was making friends or building relationships there. I was just looking for specific information, and I didn't really find it personally. And so that was sort of a deterrent for me. But for someone else, they might take to that community and get the information that they need. But I do think it's helpful and great to see that it's so accessible on this device that if you press a button, you can go to news and updates, and then you can go straight to the MSI forum. I thought that was dope. That was a dope addition. Now I want to talk about the MSI software. The software is not there, and that was a big reason as well as to why I think I'm going to return it. It did impact my enjoyment, and one of the reasons is because it's so bare bones. It has glitches, and I think it just needs a little bit more to it. And I think this device has been in people's hands for almost 2 months now. And from the reviews I saw when I was super hyped to get it and I was waiting and trying to get it, to now, I don't really see a clear difference or an improvement in the software, just from like the videos I had seen before. It sorely needs more TDP options. Right now, it gives you the AI engine, which is supposed to smartly determine what TDP it needs to run. So if you're running a game like Hades, then obviously it'll be like at 8 TDP. And if it's running a game like Cyberpunk, it'll run at the full TDP wattage, which is 30 watts. And so it didn't really do that. It just stayed at like 17 or like 20. So it didn't really fluctuate. So I found myself just putting it on manual, and then on manual, you can choose the TDP wattage. And I think you can only choose between 8 and 30. So you don't have any slider that you can change like any other handheld device. You can do that. For some reason, they're not letting you do that. So I just put it on 30. The great thing about it is it doesn't stay on 30 the whole time. It really depends on what game you're playing. So if you are playing a game like Hades, even if you're at 30, it's not gonna run at 30 TDP. It's gonna probably run at 8 or 9. When I was using Moonlight to stream my games, it was running at like 6, 7 TDP, even though I was at 30 on there. But that will confuse the user. And if a user is not super, like a super tech person, they might get frustrated very easily as to trying to figure out what's going on. And then also when you get better at understanding what games you play and you want to preserve battery life, I think you want to be able to have as much flexibility as possible. And right now you don't have that. Every time you put the device in sleep mode, what happens is it defaults back into desktop mode, which means that it thinks it shows you a mouse cursor and whatnot. So if you're in the middle of playing a game and you want to, turn off the display, and then you turn it back on, what happens is it goes to desktop mode. It doesn't allow you to use the gamepad. So to solve the issue, what you have to do is open up MSI Quick Settings, go to the gamepad control mode, tap it. You'll see that it's on desktop, and then you tap it again and it'll switch it back to gamepad mode. and then you'll be able to go back to resuming your game. Having to do this every single time I wanted to go back to playing my game was so annoying, it's not even funny. I just don't have the patience anymore to be doing this. And it's $900. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be more than good enough. I think that, you know, some people that buy this might be happy if you have some sort of disposable income. I don't, but if you do, then you might enjoy this. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to put some comments and let me know what you think. If you're thinking about getting this, if you have any questions, if you want me to test out a certain game before I return it, I will happily do that. And yeah, and good luck on your search, and thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you're able to. Thanks.